how a jingle became a viral social trend. That is the topic for today's podcast. Let's get going. Aria, hit the theme music.
It is that time again. Time for another Just Add Social podcast. Our resident social media expert is Clive Roach, and he is once again the host for this episode. Over to you, Clive.
Thanks for that intro, Aria. And as I said before, we're looking into trends today, and in particular we're going to discover how the Nothing Beats a Jet2 holiday jingle became a viral social media trend, how it boosted Jet2's brand visibility, and what it means for marketeers looking to ride the next big wave of interest for their brand. But before we start, we always like to give an indication of the depth of information we're going to talk about and how we measure that in the Just Add Social podcast is by giving out a score, the social savvy score between 1 and 10. And so, Aria, you have selected what the social savvy score is for this podcast. Let's hear it.
This is level 6 on the Savvy Social Scale 1 to 10.
Thank you. So yes, it's level 6, which is competent. So to really taking the insights in this podcast, level 6 is what we suggest. So a competent person, so you have advanced handling of routine social media, marketing skills and tasks so that you can really understand and see that opportunity that might come up with a jingle or an ad that you're going to make, and how you can foster, or if it happens to you without you doing anything, how you can capitalize on that viral trend that's happening.
Today is all about a jingle that went viral on social media. TikTok, I believe. That is where I first saw it.
Yes, Aria. Yes, you got it right. Today we are looking at how Nothing Beats a Jet2 holiday. That jingle, and you've probably heard it by now. Like Aria, some of you heard it on TikTok. I was a little bit later to the scene. I heard it on Instagram first, and some people heard it on X as well. Yes, it did. It started in TikTok. You're right, Aria. I was keen to learn more. And just recently, I've heard it's now on LinkedIn. Somebody's posted about it there. Well, I guess I will soon. But so the question I ask myself is, how did a holiday jingle from a budget airline become a full-on social media trend? So this podcast is about what I discovered. I looked into the statistics of what it is doing and what it's doing for the brand, and to see how we can learn from this. What should we do if this happens to us? So let's start with the first chapter, which is how it all started.
1.
So Jet2 is using the line "Nothing Beats a Jet2 holiday" in their ads for a while, and I saw it on UK television hundreds of times. It's a quite popular advert, very easy to recognise. So there's nothing strange about it. It's a normal advert. But now, if you look, Jet2 indeed have it currently pinned on their TikTok account. So that's really great. So let's just play the jingle in case, whatever reason, you may not have heard it yet. So indeed, Aria, I know you have the sound file in the studio there. I hand it over to you to play it.
Okay, you want me to play the jingle now?
Yes, punch the button. Let's go.
Okay, here it is.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per.
You know what?
That's £200.
I like it. It is a very catchy tune.
Okay, I think we get the idea. You can stop it now. Aria, you can stop
Now, with
it.
Jet2 holiday.
Wow, you pressed that button hard in the studio there. Did you break it?
No, it's fine. You can continue now.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I think you're not upset, are you? No. Okay, so great. So everything's doing well, but things shifted when people began using the soundtrack in social media. So as we said, it started on TikTok. Where else would it these trends start like this? But in this case, creators use the song over videos of themselves escaping bad weather, having suitcase issues, or there's negative things, but also having fun on the beach also, right? So it started to become a soundtrack to anything to do with holidays. And I think one of the reasons why it's popular, because it's quite a well-known jingle. Most people have heard it before, and so it signals that thinking about holiday experience. So one of the things that I think you can take from it, there are 3 different aspects that make it popular. The first one is relatable, right? So most of us are very much looking forward to a getaway break. I've just come back from one. So it's normal in this time of year where it became viral that we can relate to holiday issues. Sometimes they don't go well, but they're always memorable in one way or another. The second aspect is repeatable. The jingle fits many holiday situations, right? Packing, arriving at the airport, or even dreaming about going on a forthcoming holiday, or relaxing on the plane with your earbuds buds in. But it's very repeatable and very memorable. And the other thing about it is it's got a feel-good factor. It's a nice sounding jingle, bouncing along, it's easy to sing to. So that's the 3 reasons why I think it's quite light and became quite popular. But the trend expanded to having issues or problems with travelling to or being on holiday. So this is where I first encountered it, when it reached this kind of phase. So this catchy, bouncing tune is now being used as a backdrop to showing problems, drunken fights on airport tarmacs, or fights on board aircraft. I've also seen some funny ones where suitcases either are busted or they can't fit into the frame to measure the size correctly. So it's started to be used for any and all aspects of the getting away part of going on holiday. So it actually did take off as a trend. It went viral. So I've tracked it from the beginning of the year, looking at the mentions in social media. And it's quite flat, It's about 750 mentions outside of TikTok. This is in TikTok. It was still quite good. So around that for all the months until it hit around the end of May, June, and that's when it took off, June 2025. So roughly it suddenly zoomed up by around 1,700%. So it kind of reached the heights of 14,000 mentions in June, for example. So that's a big jump from 750. So it really started to pick up, and it reached a lot of people. So I estimate at least 16 million. So it's doing well. It's out there. Whether you like it or not, you see those posts on Instagram, X, TikTok, and it's also on other channels as well. I see Blue Sky as well, and so it's out there. So now we have to ask ourselves the question: Jet2 didn't start this, but it's their jingle. What is the effect on Jet2's brand? That's the second chapter of this podcast.
2.
So, for my analysis, in the main, I don't think it's a negative thing for Jet2 as such. It's good, jolly good awareness for the Jet2 brand. It gives it, for example, 3 different things. Firstly, increased visibility, especially among younger audiences on TikTok and Instagram. Secondly, massive earned media, right? So people promoting the brand without even being paid. So that's a fantastic little gift for their Q2 stats. And a strong emotional association with happiness, fun and freedom in general, right? So that's good. However, with this visibility comes some risk. And I've kind of looked at it, and generally speaking, looking at the majority of the mentions under the two most popular hashtags that are constantly used, which is Jet2 holidays and also Jet2 holiday without the S. Generally speaking, those two, the sentiment is not bad. It's by far positive because it's a fun sharing, and even when they show things that you know, people are having arguments or tripping over suitcases or whatever, it's still a fun thing, and you're not being negative to the Jet2 brand itself, even though the jingle is used for that. So the big question here is, a lot of people worldwide don't know the Jet2 brand, and I saw a question, for example, on Reddit where people ask, well, who is this Jet2, you know? And the conclusion of this person who answered the question in Reddit is the joke and the meme is almost trying to highlight some of the stereotypes of British holiday making. So yes, so that's one aspect. I guess you might want to look at it because it is generally speaking a UK brand, but of course it's reached far further than the shores of the UK. So if you look at it, I think despite the long queues or the travel issues, the use of the Jet2 jingle in many examples has nothing to do with the Jet2 holiday services and products. So all the memes in the end keep the brand top of mind, and often in a humorous light, right? So it's not damaging to the brand as such. The overall sentiment is quite good, as I said before. I think the big negative aspect that's happened recently is the US administration at the White House using it as to make one of those themes, but using it about all the deportation issues, of which the singer and the writer have said, well, you know, we do not support this. So I think that's probably the biggest negative issue that's happened, and even then it doesn't reflect badly on the Jet2 brand, right? So even then it's still giving it visibility. But I think one of the things that we as social media marketeers should do is to monitor the trend, right? Because at any one point it could swing negatively towards the brand, or it could really show, as I've seen many times over the years, the trend suddenly just goes mega viral in a country. It could be Brazil or Africa or something like that. And you should really start as a brand to capitalize on that. So it's really good to monitor it, not only for is it going negative or is it going positive and all the really great things, but as a strategic opportunity to capitalize on this kind of earned media that you didn't plan for, but it's happening anyway. So the brand is definitely benefiting from this organic trend. But the question I have is, I just don't see it capitalizing on it. I think this is a lost opportunity, in my opinion. So I even saw a comment on TikTok that someone was shocked to find out that Jet2 actually existed in real life. So they probably just thought, oh, Jet2, it's maybe part of the song. But there is actually a company there, and he actually put it into the comment on the pinned post in TikTok for Jet2. So I think that, to me, shows there is an opportunity to really get the brand name out there. As an example, because we just had this high-level example of responding to trending brand mentions, and now that enters the third part of the podcast, is how to handle these kind of viral episodes. And I'm going to talk about the case in point about astronomer. So, Aria, you know about this one because we talked about this before we got into the studio, right?
That was the recent incident at a Coldplay concert involving an astronomer executive and the company's CEO. Captured on video, I believe.
Yes, exactly it. Now, So Astronomer became quite well known. I'd never heard of them before this case, and then I also went and had a look at their website and looked what they did. And I think they handled the exit of the staff in a certain way. Now, you might agree or disagree with it, but they did handle it not too bad. But what I really like is the positive response because of this great awareness that they've now got from all of this. So what they did is they have asked Gwyneth Paltrow to act as a temporary spokesperson, and they've said that temporary. She's not a member of staff there or a regular influencer, but they got hold of her and said, look, we want to run this Q&A session, created this video. So her name draws you in, and then they start talking about their service offering. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that's jolly well done. I really do. And you see comments there that this is really good, and congratulations to the marketing team, the brand reputation team, and Astronomer. I personally think it's a great way of dealing with that increased visibility of the brand. So I think they did very well. So now that's made you think, right? So what should we do ourselves if this happens to us? And that is the key takeaway for today. So Arya, can you play the key takeaway tune so that I can get going? I know you have it right there, and you're going to press the button really softly this time. Let's go.
Get ready for the key takeaway section, Clive. Here you go. Okay, Clive, list the key takeaways now.
Thank you for the introduction. So here's the key takeaway today. If you are a marketeer watching from the sidelines and you see this happen, the question is, should we try something like this? Taking the opportunity to benefit from the increased awareness, a bit like what Astronomer did. So my answer to this is yes, but if you can find a good fit, and I think Astronomer did really well. If they'd used the new CEO, I don't think it would have had that much impact. If they used somebody that's a normal staff member, again, we don't know them. But to have Gwyneth Paltrow do this and announce that it's temporary, that she's just doing this for us, I think was a very, very clever move. So for me, the key takeaway of handling all of this, if you get yourselves into a similar situation as Jet2, where you want to foster this kind of organic, viral trend explosion with your assets, in this case it was a jingle, make it simple. Trends catch on when people can join in easily. And sometimes you have a piece of music that you can't change, right? It's a brand piece of music. But if you have the opportunity to try and make it a bit catchy, right, then and simple to get along with, like the Jet2 one, it's a good start. Because sound is powerful. A catchy audio clip spreads faster than a slogan on a banner, so that's why it's important. And what I thought Jet2 did very well is to let it go a little. I use that phrase there. Because Jet2 didn't try and control the trend and say, hey, everybody stop doing it. They let people make it their own. And I've been involved in a few of these situations. And I think the very first time in social media, the company I was with, way back in 2004, I think it was, and we had the first kind of little viral thing on social media. The CMO was like, hey, we've got to shut this down, Clive. How do we just stop them doing it? And I remember something also similar happened to Ford Motor Company. This is one of my first use cases about how to handle that, where they tried to stop something happening about their brand, and a very good influencer, which I still follow today, told them, hey guys, you need to just cool. This is organic awareness for you that you didn't have to pay for, and it's not going too bad. They, at that point, a lot of companies, 2004, around that time, wanted to control, or were used to controlling everything that's out there about the brand. These days, you have to let go. And in this particular case, it didn't do the brand any harm. So there's a lot of awareness there. So that letting it go a little tracking it and monitoring social media listening software to see, is it going okay? Fine, then let's just let it go. But be ready to respond. So if your jingle takes off, or any particular aspect or media that you're using, be prepared to interact with the content, remix it, celebrate the creators and things like that. And I remember I was watching an old episode of Top of the Pops, actually, from years ago in the UK, and one of the number one songs was Paul Hardcastle 19. And to keep the trend going, to keep the interest going, he created different remixes of it when it was number one, so that it kept the interest going. Slightly different remix were coming out as it's number one. And I think that that's another really good example of being able to take advantage of the situation you're in when things go viral. So I think, in summary, Jet2's viral success wasn't just luck. It was well-built brand asset that found its moment, and social media gave it wings. That's how it exploded. Okay, so that's it for today's episode. Hope you've enjoyed it. Lots of things to think about, but remember, whether it's enhancing your brand message through real-time interactions or amplifying your offline efforts with social media buzz, just adding social elements can help you build stronger connections and drive more success. Thank you very much for listening. Aria, thank you very much for doing your thing in the studio there.
Please do subscribe to the podcast before you go.
Thank you. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you all next time. Bye.